One.
Right, go. Okie dokie. All right, today we're here with another colleague in the online business that we're in, is Dani. How are you, Dani?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, thanks. Good. The topic we're gonna talk about today is judgment, and like judgment from friends, family, from other people who aren't sort of involved in this type of business, and how it sort of affects and how we've overcome it. So yeah, like a lot of us do have had to deal with that at some point or other, and that within our lives, and especially since we've been on this online journey. But how has that affected you with your sort of journey so far, and how have you dealt with that?
Yeah, so I guess the main thing to point out is you're going to be judged in every aspect of your life, but when you do start this business, there probably will be at least like one person in your life, whether it's a friend, family member, a colleague, somebody will probably judge you, which is scary. You know, it's a scary thought. If you're thinking about jumping on board, you obviously don't want to be judged by anyone. Nobody does, but it's the harsh truth. You probably will. Personally, I did face some judgment from multiple people. My mum was very concerned for me, thinking that I was jumping into a pyramid scheme.
Yep.
You know, and that comes from love. That comes from concern that I'm going to get scammed and I'm going to get ripped off. And it's also comes from a place of not knowing all the facts, you know. When I laid out all the facts for her, and, you know, she could see that it, you know, it's actually logical and it makes sense, then she was more at ease with it.
Yep.
And then I had a sister that I lived with. She said that she supported me, I guess, but I didn't feel that. I really, you know, when I first started, I put a lot of time and energy into all the training because I just wanted to get in and, you know, smash it all out. And I was really excited and, just wanted to try and get as far ahead as I could as quickly as possible, I guess. And so I spent a lot of my my time after work on the business and on the training. And I guess that took away time from my sister, where we would, you know, spend time together. And so there was a lot of judgment from her in terms of like she saw me as changing and, you know, you're always focused on the business. And she didn't quite even understand like the personal development journey that I was on. You know, I was trying to be a more positive person, and she sort of had a struggle with that. Like, you know,
it would have been hard. It would have been hard. You were trying to be positive, but you're getting these negative vibes.
Exactly.
You're still trying to stay positive.
Yeah. So it was very hard. It was very, very hard for me to live with someone that is. We had constant fights. You know, it started out probably a fight here and there when I first started, and then it got to a point, I'd say probably about a month or two in, it was every couple of days. My sister would sort of pick a fight, and not necessarily like I don't mean to throw her under the bus or anything, but you know what I mean? Like I think she couldn't embrace the change that she was seeing. And she maybe felt like, you know, the time that I've taken away from hanging out with her, it was changing the relationship and whatnot. So she got scared of that. She was judging the business and judging the type of people that I was hanging around with, and she had no idea the type of people because she hadn't actually you know, taking the time to see, you know, and she used to say, like, you can't stay positive all the time. I'm like, yeah, you can't. But, you know, she had no idea the type of support that I was, you know, getting from our community of online entrepreneurs. And that really, yeah, it is. And that really frustrated me because, you know, I wanted to tell her, like, you know, just have a look at it. Like, you don't have to join up, but have a look at it and you'll see that it is the best thing that's happened to me. But she didn't want a bar of it. She had just basically rejected it because I was spending much less time with her. So I feel like, you know, you're going to get judgment from people for all types of reasons, whether it's out of concern, whether it's out of jealousy because, you know, they want to do something with their life, but they're too scared to leave the comfort zone. Whether it's a lack of understanding because just not informed, or even whether it's just a fear of change and a fear of how the relationships are changing. So I really got a fair few of those from friends and family, and even a boss of mine at work. I kind of had to explain what I was doing because people at work are going to see on social media. And I sort of had to explain, I've got this side hustle, and they were like, oh, well, what are you doing? And when I explained it all, they also jumped to the pyramid scheme type, you know, scenario because they didn't know any better. Like, they don't have all the facts. So everybody jumps to that. And it's really frustrating because I guess when you get informed, you know, you can actually see that the work life, the 9 to 5, is a real pyramid scheme.
That's exactly right.
So they don't even realise they're actually in a pyramid scheme themselves.
And it's hard to get people to understand that. And you don't try and get them to understand that for any bad reason, but just to realise that when we go to work for a company, that is more the pyramid scheme than what we're doing here in this online side hustle. But with the judgment, like a lot of people, like we've both encountered that ourselves, from family and friends, but a lot of people seem to believe that we've changed. We're a different people, but we're still the same people. We've just got a different outlook on our future and where we want to head. But they just automatically say, oh, you've changed, you're not the same person. Well,
of course we're not the same.
We are, but we're not.
Yeah.
We've got a different outlook on life. That's one of the things that people can't get their head around us, we find. But so
and that's exactly how I, you know, the sort of struggle that I have with my sister, you know, living with her. She sort of had that same thing. Like, she said quite a number of times, you know, you've changed, and I think fundamentally it comes down to, yes, I've changed, but I'm still the same person. I've still got the same values, but now I'm changing my priorities. I'm not wasting so much time on TV anymore, which unfortunately that was time spent with her. So she sees that as the relationship changing because there's just not as much time with her. And I would try to even say to her, look, well, you know, the whole reason I'm doing this is so that eventually I can leave my 9 to 5 and have that, you know, extra time for family. Right now is a time where I've got to hustle and, you know, get everything off the ground. And it means putting in a bit more time at the start to eventually get to that end goal where this is my only job. And then I have all that extra free time for family. So it's a bit of sacrifice at the start.
Sacrifice now so you don't have to compromise later.
No,
so it is hard for people that, you know, especially family or friends, where you do sacrifice that time with them. They will probably be very fearful and very judgmental of that, and see it as a change when you're actually trying to change for the better and become more positive and go after your goals. So
that's exactly right. So now with the online journey that we're all on, the online business that we're doing, is there any specific areas that you found have helped you get through these moments of judgment? Like, because I know we've found a lot of aspects of it have helped us, but what any areas that have actually helped you get through it?
Yeah, so I would say, one of the big things with this business is we're always told to plug into personal development. So right from the start, it's strongly encouraged. And as far as, podcasts and books and audio books, and one of the podcasts that was recommended to me when I first started was Adrian Wesley's Power On. So for the people watching that don't know Adrian, he's actually a clinical hypnotherapist, and he is what he calls a human optimizer. And he basically just shares with you value to help you, I guess, embrace your self-limiting beliefs and become the person that you really should be, but you're hiding and you have all these fears and everything like that. So his podcast spoke to me, and they really helped me to, click in terms of there was so much truth that he identifies so much in terms of self-limiting beliefs that started from a very young age, and you don't even realize it.
No.
You don't even realize that you go through your whole life, and you know that you've got some flaws, but you don't realize how deep things go. So when you can tap into that sort of stuff, then you can embrace it, and you can, I guess, put steps into place to change that. And also just our community itself. Like, I remember there was one particular night I was at my wits' end after a fight with my sister, and I vented in one of our group chats, and I was feeling like I shouldn't probably be venting in there, but I did it anyway because I was just that far gone. And I got all this support. I got a flood of messages of support and advice in terms of, what I should do, and everyone supporting me and telling me it's going to be okay and all that. So at this community, you don't realize until you step into it what you're getting into. You just think you're chasing the money, but
there's much more to it than that.
Much more than that. Yeah.
No, it definitely is an amazing community. Like, as you say, the support there, everyone's there to help you, and no one judges you in it. Like, we're all of us in there after the same outcome. Outcome. Whether it be sooner rather than later or later rather than sooner, but we're all still on that same thing, and we've all faced all these same things, like the judgment from people and what have you. But it's an amazing group, that's for sure.
All right. Do you actually have any regrets with starting this business?
The only regret I have is that I didn't start when I first saw it.
That's what I said.
My only regret. Because, to be honest, I saw it 12 months before I started. And I was very, very, I'm a worrywart, I guess. I'm very, I don't take a lot of risks. I do now, but before this business, I didn't take a lot of risks. I'm very, logical kind of thinker.
You wanted all the information and everything.
Yeah. And I personally as well was skeptical when I first saw it. I was like, it seems too good to be true. But, until you get into it, you don't actually realize that it's not just too good to be true.
How we've been brought up. It's really how we've been brought up. It's how we perceive things.
That's it. it's just the way society is, isn't it? There, but
yeah. So I guess that's my only regret is that if I had started 12 months ago when I first saw it, you know, I'd have everything. Well, not everything probably, but I'd have a lot of the things that I've got into this business to achieve. You know, I got into it wanting to get a house deposit. I got into it because I don't want to keep renting anymore, and I want to work for myself. So I think personally I wouldn't be renting anymore, and I wouldn't have a 9 to 5 anymore if I was 12 months ahead. But I hesitated, and so consequently I'm 12 months behind the goals that I could have achieved. But you know, like I guess everything happens for a reason, and I'm here now, and so that's the thing.
No, that's it. So all right, well, pretty much, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh. I haven't to be honest, I haven't actually thought that far ahead. I know I should. Yeah, I can see myself like 1 year ahead, but I haven't actually sat down and thought about like 3 or 5 years. Yeah. I think if I had to think quickly off the top of my head, probably just traveling as much as I can. Like I've never even traveled overseas yet. Got a trip planned next month. But
that's right. You're heading off to Unify at Las Vegas too, aren't you?
I am, and it's the first trip I've ever been, you know, ever gone on. And I never thought I'd be going by myself on my first overseas trip. I never thought I'd go overseas at all by myself. So that's another thing that's, you know, out of my comfort zone. So I'm pretty excited about that though. And I think with this business, like I really want to get those things, you know, get the house deposit, work for myself, have more time for family, and also have more time to travel. Because I've never been overseas before, and it's not that I haven't wanted to. It's more that I haven't had the time or the money to do it. So with this business, you know, it's so flexible. You can do it literally from anywhere. So
that's it.
You're going to come away with so much from there. Like we went to the first one on the Gold Coast last year, and that was amazing.
It was awesome, and it was on a much smaller scale to what this one's going to be that you're going to.
I'm pretty excited. Like I am nervous because I never planned on ever going overseas by myself. That's really something that does scare me, but I know there's a few people in our community that are going as well, so that gives me some comfort. But like it's definitely out of my comfort zone to do this solo, but I'm embracing all of that since I started this journey. Like it's really pushing me to take those risks, and they're paying off. Like it's incredible, and I'm really looking forward to that trip, and I think it'll be the start of traveling and the travel bug.
You'll get the bug from it.
That's the go. No, that's awesome. All right, well, we might wrap it up at that. If there's nothing else you want to find, no. Anything you want to add to any of that?
No, I think we covered all of it.
Yep. No, that's awesome. No worries. All right. Well, thank you very much for jumping on with us, and hope you have an awesome time, which we're sure you will, over in Vegas next month. And
put some lots of photos up for us.
I think I'll get some really awesome content.
I think you will.
I'm sure you will. That's for sure. So,
all right
then. Well, thanks very much, Dani.
All right. Thank you for having me.
No worries, guys.
Bye.